The housing market is gripped by recession fears. And today we're going to get right into it because breaking news, the IMF cuts the GDP forecasts and says that the global economy is heading for the weakest growth since 1990. And it goes on to say that 5 years from now, global growth is expected to be around 3%. Which happens to be the lowest medium-term forecast in a World Economic Outlook for over 30 years. And in the short term, the near term, the fund expects global growth of 2.8% in 2023 and 3% in 2024. But there is a caveat to this baseline forecast, which assumes that the recent financial sector stresses are contained. Now, having been a stockbroker for damn near 20 years, I know that analysts are wrong all the time. And the government and politicians and policymakers and the entire system has a vested interest in not freaking out the market because ain't nobody getting reelected if they tell you the truth. I trust the IMF just about as far as I can throw them. And since I've been working out these days, I may be able to throw them a little bit further than I have in the past. But it's not very far. And while the housing market has been gripped by fears of recession for a while now, and the US housing market has lost trillions of dollars of value, right along with other international global housing markets, the Florida housing market has remained bulletproof for today. And in my local Florida housing market, there is zero evidence of a housing recession. But there's plenty of evidence of a return to normal, which takes me to the Florida housing market that we must cover today because I've had so many requests for this particular housing market. So today we're going to cover single-family homes in the Ocala metro, which consists of Marion County. And as you can see on the map of Florida, this market is located in the northern central part of the state. It is not a coastal community. And while many of these markets have been on fire since the pandemic, due to the fact there are 1,300 people who move to Florida on a daily basis, and even with people leaving, because Florida is not right for everyone, the net gain is overwhelming. And while closed sales in February in the Ocala market have fallen off a cliff and are down 13%, and cash sales in February are down 20.4%. The median sales price is on the uptick to the tune of 3.9%. Let's just round up and call it 4 to $279,500. But the average sales price tells a very different story, and that's down 1.3%, down from a touch over 333,000 to a touch under 329. But we are going to drill deeper into both of those metrics to see what the last year looked like so that you understand what the trend is, which might break the grip of the fear that may exist around the Florida housing recession, which, as I mentioned, so far, there is no evidence of. But you can see that dollar volume took a hit of 14%, which had a lot to do with the fact that closed sales were down 13%, and the median time to contract skyrocketed 440% from 10 days to 54 days. And median time to sale did the same thing, up 77.2% from 57 days to 101 days, which is a massive uptick year over year. But when compared to pre-pandemic numbers, it's a return to normal. But new pending sales are down 6.4%, and new listings are on the uptick, up 6.4%, which is great news if you're thinking about buying in this market. And it's probably not so great if you're thinking about selling. And if you're looking for help in this market and would like to be connected with an all-star professional that we know, like, and trust, someone that can advocate and negotiate for you the right way, then please reach out and I'll get you connected as soon as possible. Pending inventory in the Ocala metro took a hit of 24.1%, and the inventory of active homes that are sitting on the market unsold is up 212%. There are 2,418 homes sitting on the market unsold in the Ocala metro, which is an uptick from 1 month to 3.6 months, a massive 260% jump. And to be abundantly clear, we're talking about February data. We are now in April. March data will not come out until the end of this month. And when it does, I will absolutely keep you abreast of what has changed in this Marion County market. But I can tell you right now, it's going to be better news if you're thinking about buying a home, and probably not so great if you're thinking about selling. Which takes us to the story of median sales price over the last year in the Ocala metro. And what you can see is year to date, the median sales price is up 7.3% to $279,000. And February, as already mentioned, is up 3.9%. But unlike other markets, which have shown lots of volatility as far as pricing is concerned, Ocala has been on the uptick for the last year. Single digit growth across the board for the last 12 months. But what can't be ignored is that February is the slowest growing month. And gone are the days of 25.5, 28.4, 26.3, 31.4, and almost 40% month over month median sales price appreciation. But the average sales price tells a little bit of a different story. And the average sales price growth over the last year is nowhere near as robust. It's up 1.6% for the year at a touch over 318,000. But February, it downticked 1.3%. And in December, it downticked 6.6%. But if we look back over the past year, what you'll notice is that primarily you've experienced double-digit gains throughout most of 2022, which means that homeowners in this market are sitting on a metric shit ton of equity up until they're not. And unlike other Florida markets that I've covered, new listings in this market are on the uptick, up 7.6% for the year. And if we look back over the last year, you can see that new listings had big spikes in the spring and summer of 2022 of 16%, 11%, 32%, and 42% upticks in new listings. Great news for buyers, and while probably not so great for sellers, if they're looking to time the market and get the all-time high, but certainly great news for homeowners who are tapping out of a metric shit ton of equity. Which takes us to the distressed market in the Ocala metro in Marion County. Because during the last crash, distressed sales were the thing that drove prices and values downward and destroyed a metric shit ton of equity. And lots of folks felt the pain of the housing market recession and were devastated by the losses. But as of February in the Ocala metro, there were very few foreclosures or short sales. Both metrics downticked significantly. Foreclosures were down to 2 from 3, which is a loss of 33.3%, and short sales were non-existent. Big fat goose egg, 0. Zilch, nada, down from 2, which is down from 2 in February of 2022, down 100%. Because homeowners in this market are not in distress. And homeowners in Florida are not in distress. They are all sitting on a metric ton of equity. And if they choose to or need to, they can tap out with a net gain, a massive windfall from where they purchased the home, up until they can't. And truthfully, the only thing we have to fear is fear itself. Because if you're empowered with the truth, and you know what's happening in the hyperlocal market that you're thinking about buying or selling in, the truth will set you free, and your recession fears will disappear. And you can take action as appropriate for you to advocate and negotiate for yourself the right way. Now, I hope you found this content valuable, and if you did, please subscribe to the channel, give it a thumbs up, share it with a friend, and if you're thinking about buying or selling, then please reach out to me directly because we would love to help. And check out my next video because I suspect you will love it a lot. And until next time,